Have you ever felt that electric tingle in your spine when you realize something big might be slipping through our fingers? Lions News. Fan Report is on the scene, roaring louder than ever. And if you're as passionate as I am about this team, you need to hit that like button and subscribe right now, because what I'm about to share could shake the very foundation of our defense. Imagine a backfield so airtight that opposing quarterbacks shiver at the mere thought of throwing our way. What if the very cornerstone of that secondary was suddenly in jeopardy? Could the front office really be considering a shocking roster purge in the wake of last season's highs? Is Brad Holmes about to pull the rug out from under one of his most lauded off-season acquisitions, despite rave reviews from national analysts? What if the man who many pundits called among the best NFL moves of the entire off-season finds himself on the chopping block before the regular season even begins? Let's rewind a moment and paint the picture. Last spring, Detroit stunned the league by bringing in DJ Reed, a lockdown corner with pro football focus grades that rivaled the elite and a knack for snatching interceptions out of thin air. Analysts from coast to coast crowned it a masterstroke, and your whispers in the stands turned to roars of approval. But fast forward to today's OTAs, and whispers have morphed into uneasy murmurs. Reports are filtering out that Reed's synergies with our defensive scheme might not be meshing as seamlessly as expected. Could nagging niggles have dulled his once blistering change-of-direction speed? Is there something lurking beneath that shimmering surface, some hidden flaw in performance drills that our coaches are scrambling to mask? We've seen it before. A promising fit that looks golden on paper but starts to rust under the intense NFL spotlight. Fans have taken to social media, dissecting every broken-up route and every near-miss in one-on-one coverage, questioning whether Reed's swagger has met an early off-season slump. Some insiders whisper about contested snaps in practice, snap counts that suddenly see him pulled earlier than usual, while others hint at cap space gymnastics that could force Holmes's hand. After all, we're loaded with talent in other areas, and balancing the books might mean sacrificing even a seasoned vet. Could Detroit really cut ties with a player who was supposed to be the defensive antidote to our secondary woes? What if this strategic recalibration signals a larger shakeup, one that could redefine our entire identity as a defense-first team? It's a chilling thought, but every Lions fan remembers the heartbreak of last-minute roster cuts that seemed unfathomable at the time. Name after name echoing through the locker room halls as the final 53-man list was trimmed. And now, here, we stand at the precipice of training camp, with the specter of another seismic move looming large. This isn't just about one player's fate, it's about the message it sends to every cornerback competing for snaps, to every rookie eyeing a spot, and to the entire roster watching Holmes's chess game unfold. Will Detroit double down on depth by promoting an underdog from our practice squad? Or is this bold pivot a prelude to an even more jaw-dropping free agent shocker waiting in the wings? As the OTAs wind down and the calendar edges closer to July, the tension is thick enough to taste. Will Reed's name still grace that sheet when the whistle blows on the season opener? Or will the Lions front office reveal a move so audacious that it rewrites our off-season narrative entirely? The pieces are in motion. The speculation is ripping through Ford Field like wildfire, and the only thing certain is that nothing will ever feel the same once this decision drops. If you believe the Lions are on the cusp of something truly seismic, hit that like button, and let's finish what we started here on Lions News Fan Report. Picture this. It's late October, Ford Field is electric, and the opposition's quarterback is surveying the field with hesitation, because he knows there's a new predator stalking the edge. If Brad Holmes wraps up this deal for Trey Hendrickson, we aren't just adding another pass rusher. We're injecting an attitude, a swagger that screams, "We own this turf." Imagine Hendrickson lining up opposite Aiden Hutchinson, two beasts ready to feast on hapless offensive tackles, and suddenly, a routine 3rd and 7 in the fourth quarter becomes an audition for the next cinematic highlight reel. Could this tandem mirror the glory days when the silver rush of the 1950s terrorized backfields? History has a way of repeating itself when you dare to put your chips on the table. Now, let's talk numbers, because we Lions fans crave proof that our hunches aren't baseless hype. Last season, we forced just 26 sacks over 18 games, the 8th fewest in the league, while our rivals racked up pressures at nearly double the rate. Trey Hendrickson, meanwhile, logged 18 sacks in 2022 and followed that with a 15-sack campaign in 2023, despite less help on his blind side. If even half of that production translates to Detroit, we're talking about swinging our team's win expectancy by an entire touchdown in critical moments. Could this be the kind of impact that turns close losses into clutch victories? When you recall the horror of Week 17 last year, one missed pressure turning into a game-winning touchdown for Green Bay, it's impossible not to dream of redemption. But there's more than just the statistics. It's about identity. Remember when this team was defined by defense so ferocious that opponents dreaded throwing over the middle? That DNA faded over the past decade, replaced by inconsistent rotations and depth players thrown to the wolves. Adding Hendrickson would signal a full-throated renaissance, a declaration that the Lions intend to reclaim respect as the NFC's most fearsome front. Fan chants would morph from "Let's go Lions" to "Let's go Hunt," and broadcast booths would scramble for adjectives to describe our revamped front four. What if this move sets off a cascade, compelling smart veteran role players to choose Detroit as their next stop, eager to chase Super Bowl dreams alongside two all-pro caliber edge rushers? Financially and strategically, Holmes's rumored incentive-laden structure shows his mastery of cap gymnastics. Insiders whisper that the base guarantee hovers around $10 million, with up to $8 million more tied to Pro Football Focus grades and snap percentages. Could this blueprint become the hallmark of Detroit's off-seasons, luring prime veterans wary of long-term risk but hungry for high-reward situations? Imagine Jared Goff thriving behind a revamped offensive line, while Hendrickson and Hutchinson apply relentless pressure, the perfect symbiosis of offense and defense. It's a strategic 1-2 punch poised to elevate this franchise to contender status, not just playoff participants but legitimate Super Bowl threats. Yet, skeptics will point to biomechanical wear and tear, warning that Hendrickson's 400 career tackles can catch up with him. They'll reference the knee surgeries, the heavy usage in Miami and New Orleans. But consider Detroit's training staff, lauded for post-surgical rehabilitation and innovative load management protocols that kept Jared Goff upright all season long. What if this environment of cutting-edge sports science allows Hendrickson to play not just a season, but to extend his prime in ways he couldn't elsewhere? Could this be the difference between a fleeting splash and a multi-year foundation for Detroit's defensive dominance? As the clock winds down toward opening day, picture the scene. Microphones poised, reporters clamoring for a quote from Dan Campbell, whose gravelly voice could declare, "We just added a grinder who defines what we're about." The roar from the stands would be deafening, a mix of relief and raw, unfiltered excitement. Could this be the moment we tell the world that Detroit is no longer a dark horse hope, but a glaring threat? Fans would fill social feeds with hashtags like Edge of Glory and Silver Rush Redux, rekindling memories of past pride while forging new legends. So here's my question to you. Do you believe this blockbuster signing will spark a defensive revolution in Motown, or do you think it's another mirage in a desert of unmet promises? Will Hendrickson and Hutchinson become the fiercest duo since Sue and Fairley? Or will the rigors of a true 18-game grind expose cracks in Detroit's armor? The whispers are growing louder, the stakes higher than ever, and only time will reveal whether Brad Holmes's gamble pays off in ring gold or ring rust. Stay locked in with Lions News Fan Report, because when this story breaks, you'll want to be the first to hear every electrifying detail.